Hey, my peeps. How you doing? I thought today we might talk about the equinox, which is coming up at the end of the week. It's the halfway point, equal light, equal dark. So it's a time of balance, of reconciliation of opposites, and the need to work in both energies of the light and the poignancy of it waning and the power of it waning. I don't know, in this neck of the woods, which is very far east and north, it's dramatic. We're already, the sun is setting before anybody else in the country. And then suddenly, as it gets darker and darker, whoosh, they pull the rug out from under us with time change, which I think is just, it's crazy to me. Like doubling down on, the power it takes to adjust to the change. And here, it is dramatic. In the darkest days, solstice, around the solstice, it gets dark at about 3:30. Goes into a distinct twilight. I don't know how people around the Arctic Circle do it. I really don't. All-time day, all-time night. I'd go nuts, I think. And there is something bipolar about that this time of year, the equinox. You're just straddling the poles. It's a power place, but it's a challenging place. Seven of Cups, not what I was expecting. This can mean the opening up of a lot of options in the realm of feelings. Can be confusion. Like, is this love? Is this love? I mean, some of these cups have concerning, the Pope is popping out of one and a beetle, and there's a victory wreath in one and a bunch of snakes and a castle and a sort of severed head. There's an element of what the F is this? But she has her head cocked. She's just sort of world card. The complete transformation of something. The closing out, perhaps, of a cycle in a major way, major arcana way, of confusion. And maybe part of that closing out of that cycle is certain options, beetle in the cup, Pope in the cup, severed head, is like a hell no. I know what I don't want. Tell us about world, please, the major portal, moving from confusion into okay, first off, from confusion. This is the card of deep knowing. High Priestess knows, does not speak about it, does not lecture anybody. Couldn't if she wanted to. This energy, he, she, they, okay, cat ate grass and is now, which they do is medicinally, which is sort of interesting. She's moon energy, divine feminine. And when we say divine feminine, because that's sort of a confusing, how's that different from feminine? it doubles down on the idea that this isn't about gender. It's about major arcana energy of receptivity, of looking into the mystery, of not trying to translate that for anybody. Because in a way, if you're trying to explain the mystery to somebody else in a kind of, can't you see it, I see it sort of way, that can disempower them. I don't think that's our intention, to disempower anybody. Two major cards, World High Priestess. And this character, this energy, can see sort of through that portal, knows what's coming, but is not about saying, red alert, this is coming. Big change, major portal. Are you ready to step out of uncertainty? 7 of Cups. 10 of Cups. That falls below 7 of Cups. Well, that's a jump. I mean, do these guys look uncertain? Cups are about connection and love. And this is like the ultimate embrace. This is as close as you can get to somebody, regardless of whether or not you're like them. The black, the white, the male, the female. It's where those kind of boundaries become a permeable membrane by virtue of this love and connection. You're that connected. And it's 10 of Cups also speaks to the environment too. They just look so happy. Underworld, Scorpio energy, death. Here's the ending and the transformation, and here's the entry point into the next big thing. This is on the level of the psyche. On the level of 3D, there might be an element of this, like, huh? What? What I thought was love is actually this spooky, this beetle really gets to me. It's sort of devil-like with the horns. Yeah, I mean, it confuses me. I look at that card and I just think, how do I even read that card? Well, we might not even have to figure it out anymore, because there's been such a transformation on the level of feelings. Water energy, this energy, this energy. This is a card of Cancer, Scorpio. All the fixed signs. But we have so much water here. The 2 minor arcana. 2 of the 3 major arcana. The death and rebirth. The passing through a major portal. 10 of Wands. And I'm getting like, now you can fit through. Somebody was so overburdened, and I'm never sure quite what this Tibetan monk character is. Maybe it's leaving all these concerns behind to close out a cycle, and pass through into some really rather brilliant, this is a 10, this is a 10. 10 and 10, 20. 20 in major arcana, judgment. The card of rebirth. So we have the card of ending. Scorpio season could be. And the card of wrapping up that big cycle, and another card of wrapping up that big cycle. There's something I'm hearing point of no return. I'm not sure you could put the brakes on this if you tried, and you don't want to try. Could be scary, but I don't think so, because this is a very peaceful card to me. High Priestess works with the cycles, the endings and the new beginnings. Would not balk at passing through that portal. And I think this may be either it's somebody else who's confused by you, or you're just transforming out of this state of confusion about what you feel. No longer confused. Cancer, Scorpio. About what you want, about what you're transforming. And it's happening both on that psychic level and on the 3D level. It's moving into a spiritual understanding of kind of what love is, and you're surrounded by it. You are it. That's part of the permeable membrane. Love is no longer something you have to seek after or have to mourn the loss of, because it's just transformed. It's not gone. Can't be created, can't be destroyed. It's like same as it ever was kind of energy, except that, And that's sort of the irony. Same as it ever, this is an energy you can tap into or are tapped into that's beyond, that's about growth and change, but also about the eternal thing that doesn't change. Because we live in both. We have a foot in both of those worlds. I don't even know what to clarify. Clarify death, why not? I mean, Scorpio time, major transformation, butterfly. I mean, it's something about the apparent darkness that we're moving into that actually opens up the inner vision that allows us to see beyond the veil. The veil gets thin. That's sort of a cliche about Halloween, the thinning of the veil. But a closing out of a cycle. What's the cycle that's closing out, please? 10 of Wands, death, world. 10 of Cups. I like it that the 2 10s put together equal 20, which is the card of rebirth, judgment, being called back to life. A little more. Can you tell us about the transformation? I know High Priestess doesn't tell, but you can tell us. Oh boy, did we get a... Okay, another cycle ending card. 10, sorry, my chair seems to be cracking and creaking. 10 of Swords, the end of a painful cycle. The end. And here's that moon card. Cancer, High Priestess. She's Cancer, Libra, about balance, that the darkness and the light, This is for some people, a fearful energy. And I always get, it's not fearful for you. I mean, there's any big cyclical change and a major conclusion of a cycle and the birth of something new has the element of uncertainty, and it can be fear. But this is a realm that this is water energy, and you are, you're half water, half air. Your understanding is based on kind of feeling the ripple effects. You feel the ripple effects. And I notice in this card, I just look down and see it's a moon card and a card of Cancer, and we have the crab, the sign for Cancer, coming up out of the waters of the unconscious. And there's a fearful reaction, and there's a, let's go explore this. And it's on death, Scorpio, another card of water. This energy is a lot about changes in your water energy, your feelings, your connection, who you love, how you love. And I think you're moving from a kind of, how do I love? Who do I love? What do I love, and why? And what is this beetle doing? And it's like you're moving into that place, which is kind of into the unknown. Somehow you're moving confidently into that because you've closed out, like you couldn't go back. You couldn't go back. There's no going back. You're like in the flow. You're in the slipstream. Ooh, you're carried along. You're carried forward. Page of Swords. I mean, look at this power card. Pages are supposed to be the children of the tarot, the youthful energy, and it is. I mean, it's the new perspective, it's the lesson, it's the takeaway that you can use in 3D. It's a new understanding. But look, this guy doesn't look like a, looks very powerful to me. And with this massive crescent on the head, it's like that whatever the understanding is, whatever the lesson is, and again, the butterflies. It's the takeaway from the change. All these cycles wrapping up. The lesson, the takeaway. 3 of Cups. This is a card of reunion, of coming together. There's a reader who, and I think it's Birth of Venus Tarot, who describes this card as the soul family. And I like that because it's not only, the people you hang out with. It's your soul group. People you've perhaps incarnated with over lifetimes. Like there are a bunch of you. I really believe that, and I was at a party the other day where we started talking about that. That there's something about this group of people like we've known each other forever. It's the same constellation of people, but in different roles, lifetime to lifetime. And I said to this woman I was talking to, well, we may be friends in this lifetime. In some other lifetime, we may have been brothers. And she's like, yeah, I feel it too. And it's a card based on feelings. It isn't like you need demonstrable proof of this. You feel it in your heart. These are my peeps. This is where love flows. There's an ease to it. The cycle that's wrapping up may have been really hard. Something you could not understand, that like messed with your mind. But it did transform you. These sort of ghostly butterflies. this scorpionic energy of an ending that gives birth to the transformed thing. This goes on Seven of Cups, the confusion, the options, the weird beetle-y energy, the beetle bug. I don't know what that's about, but, well, it's sort of like this is a horrible image, but kind of like beetles that go after, that are part of the, they break down, you know, if a tree dies, if an animal dies, they're part of the energy that takes care of it, that transmutes it, you know, like the scavenger bird, like the compost pile, like the energy of recycling, cycling, all these cards of the cycles, and recycling. Four of Swords. You know, that's a card of going silent, can be. Not talking, busy healing, in a degree of retreat, or, retreat, respite, rest, recuperation, a lot of rewords, you know. Rebirth. I'm getting the image of, the biblical image of, after he was crucified, Christ was put in the tomb. On the third day he rose again. That's sort of, it's something like that. It's that rebirth image that we talked about implicitly, the resurrection in the judgment card, which we didn't see, but we felt it. We felt it. I love that idea of going around with the same people. That doesn't mean it's static. That doesn't mean people don't join the group or fall away from the group over lifetimes, as lessons are learned, as, you know. But there's something to me very joyful in that. And in the recognition of each other that you can't put into words. It's a holy, it's a connection that is holy. All these water energies about connection, love, the links that transcend lifetimes. Look at this, the new baby. The new baby. Card of Leo. Light, warmth, innocence. In Rider-Waite, it shows the baby on horseback coming in, you know, to sort of greet the day. This is the new thing being born, you know. Fire energy. So we may have needed to heal feelings by, you know, our sword energy, how we think about something, how we greet the world, the belief system, the filter. In a way, this is unfiltered. You know, revelation, brilliance, light. What we started at the beginning to talk about. The light and the dark. That tipping point between the two. The balance point between the two extremes. Sun, moon, masculine, feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine, the energies of receptivity and action. And they may have been imbalanced to the point where they were, you know, it was so confusing it immobilized you. It was kind of like the gears of your brain seized. But there's an end to that. It's like the flywheel, something about the ending this cycle brings you, and I think we've had this again and again, but it's reconciling the light and the dark. You couldn't go through this portal if you were in one extreme or the other. And I really think the equinox is going to be a big deal, and it's at the end of the week. Maybe something in 4 days. The tipping point. And that movement into the dark, while it scares some people, you know, it might scare you, but you go forward anyway. You're drawn to. And I just think you find it empowering, or you're gonna. Sun, moon. One more question, because we've closed out a cycle and have a new perspective, fresh eyes, beginner's mind, like that baby image again. Beginner's mind, the new way of looking at it, you know, because something is definitively over. 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands. 10s indicate the end of a cycle. The beginning, because, you know, we're not in a place where things end. There's always the next phase. There's always the portal. Like we graduate to the next, we spiral up. We've learned something that may be allowed for the closing out of the cycles. Because we do have 10 of Swords. This isn't the Ace of Swords, but it's the Page of Swords. It's more personal than the Ace of Swords. It's you learning a lesson, you picking up that knowledge, you going out into the world to transform not only yourself. There's something about the Ascended Master. Because there's a whole lot, this character, you know, all these wands are behind this individual. There's something they've turned their back on in order to focus on the new thing. Beginner's mind, the clean slate. I think that's it. You guys are the best, you know. I have to say too, I've done a couple of private readings, and I read for myself on a regular basis, and these cards have been coming up, you know, in all those readings in slightly different inflection, but the same message of just major transformation. Supported by, as it always is. You know, there's always this kind of, the cosmos, those universal energies affirming this transition. You can be confident. And that's not to say there's not something to do with facing your fears. But you're used to doing that. This is your element. We have Cancer, Scorpio, Cancer and Moon card, Scorpio in the Death card, Cancer, Libra in High Priestess, Leo in the Sun, all the fixed signs in World. Big change. And you may be on the cusp of it, as we're on the cusp of the equinox. That balance point. It's a tipping point. It's a tipping point. See you next time.